Hello everybody, welcome back to another Rant Wednesday. Hello, hi all. I'm going to just wait on here for a little bit until some of you come in. Hello. Hi Angie, hi Jackie. Cindy, Denia, hi. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes before I get started here. Hello everybody. Hi. We have another Rant Wednesday today, and I know I've done something really weird with my hair today. I was just getting so sick of looking at it, like can't wait to get back to my hairdresser and have some. Hi Cindy. So today is Wednesday, it's Rant Wednesday. We are going to be talking about retinols today. And just, you know, the importance of them, you know, my love for retinols and just, you know, how people is talking about retinols and just the over-the-counter retinols saying they don't do anything for the skin, and yet that's all I've ever used on my face, and known it to have really changed my own skin many years back. So I absolutely am a huge retinol fan. But, okay, so we're getting on here. Hello all. Hi, Patty, sweetheart. Okay, everybody. So it is, it's retinol day today, and you know that I'm very, someone who really, is obviously, I've been doing this a long time, 42 years, you know, tons of facials in my time. And I'm, you know, hugely passionate about retinols and just how they affect the skin. And for my own, you know, my own skin, as I said, you know, 10 years ago when I got really much more serious about using retinols myself, I changed my skin a lot. So let's talk about retinols and what it's all about. So retinols come under a heading of what we call retinoids. And retinoids is the molecules under the retinoids is going to be your retinol, your retinoic acid, your retinyl acetate, your palmitate, and the retinol, what's the other one? The propionate and retinyl palmitate. And so we've got these different molecules of the vitamin A groupings that all come under the heading of retinoids. And the great thing about when you're working with retinoids and all the different molecules of the retinoids is that they're all different weight and size. So in other words, you know, in reference to when we're talking about something like an alpha hydroxy acid, it's similar because, you know, your alpha hydroxy acids, you've got your glycolic, lactic, malate, tartaric, and citrus. They're all different size and weight. And this is the same when we talk about vitamin A groupings, and that's all of our little vitamin A molecules which come under what we call retinoids, the title of, you know, the retinoid formulations of the different molecules. So if you have a larger molecule, and your larger one is going to be your Retinyl Palmitate, now that one is not going to go to those deeper levels within the skin, right? So what's great about when we work with different molecules of the different groupings of vitamin A is that you're working on the different layers in the skin. So that's why it's really important to work with an abundance of your vitamin A groupings. And so if you're just using one of your vitamin A, which let's say is going to be your retinoic acid, and your retinoic acid is retinol, and that's going to be your differin, your Tazorac, your tretinoin, that's going to be those ones, and that is just that one molecule of retinoic acid. And that one is the one that can really be very aggressive on the skin and cause irritation and damage capillary walls. You know, so there's a big, and a lot of people talk about this. They say, and especially lately, because I've been looking at what people have been writing and talking about, is they're talking about, you know, that there's the only retinols that work on your skin, that one molecule is your retinoic acid, and that's just not true. Because retinoic acid is the retinol, the prescription strength. that one is, yes, it's going to go deeper into the skin in that, and it's going to be stronger, but it's also more irritating, and it's what really does, thin the skin back. And when I say thin it back, I'm talking about the stratum cornea, the very outer layer of the skin, because the underlying skin, it gets, when you start using retinol, it tightens it, so you have a really strong support system under there. But when you start to use retinol, it buffers back that outer layer, which is why a wrinkle will look less deep, and why your skin texture will improve. It is because retinols do buffer back that outer layer, but they build a really strong support system underneath with your collagen and elastin fibers. So it is, retinols are great. But what's great is when you can work with a multiple array of the different molecules of the vitamin A groupings. And that, as I said, they're all going to be under that retinoid topic, which is going to be your retinol, it is going to be your retinoic acid, it is going to be your retinyl acetate, it is going to be the palmate, the retinyl palmate, and it's going to be the retinyl palmitate. Am I saying it? I keep saying this, palmitate, yes. There's these two I get mixed up, the two larger ones. But they're different size and different weights. So they range from roughly, the molecular weight is roughly, 230 point to 540. They're different sizes. So, to visually understand it, they're actually different sizes, and they do go to different levels in the skin. And what is really important when you're talking about skin is building a strong structure. Because if you have a strong structure, meaning all the levels in your skin are strong, like a house, you have to have a strong base, you have strong walls, and you have a strong roof. And retinols, the same. You want to not just work with one, molecule which goes to one level in the skin that irritates as well. But retinols are great. But the thing that I really have a pet peeve about is that people are saying that you don't want to use an over-the-counter retinol because they don't work, and that is so untrue. Because even, as I said, on my own skin, I have never used a prescription retinol. I would never use a prescription retinol because, I don't want to thin my skin back that much so that when I'm older, I'm going to have to be worrying about everything, the environment. And so it's really important to understand that, if you go too aggressive with any one thing, there's going to be consequences that you pay for later in life. And, I really, I need people to understand that when you have a complex of your vitamin A's, you've got your acetate, your palmitate, you've got all of these, your retinol, when you've combined them all together, you are working on all the levels in the skin. That's why it's so important to work with a complex of your vitamin A groupings, the different molecules. So, there's, as I said, there's a lot of talk about, but you have to use prescription, and people are so quick to use prescription retinols now, that even really young people, and it's just like, I say to you guys, where do you go from there? You start using a prescription strength retinol in your 20s. I mean, what are you going to be doing in your 30s, your 40s and 50s? Because let's know we're going to be living another 50 years on top of that, which is like, what do you do? And I've said this so many times, you can lift and tuck your skin all you like, but when it comes to thickening your skin, you can't. Not thicken it, physically thicken it. You can help the levels be hydrated. You can protect it. You can do all these things, but you can't thicken your skin. As you get older, your skin gets thinner and it becomes more transparent. And, so your capillaries become more visible. And everything, the darkness around the eye, because as the eye area gets thinner, you're seeing those blue veins around your eyes. So don't go using retinols in your eye creams. Don't go using retinols and AHAs, too much of it around your eyes. If you want to do a boost once every couple of weeks around your eyes or once a month, then do a little boost. but don't go using it on a daily basis, because you thin back that eye area that's already thin. I mean, what are you going to do when you're older? And I'm telling you, you guys that are young right now, you don't realize this, because you don't realize a lot of things, because you don't know, you haven't seen what's going to happen to your skin. So it's really important that you don't get caught up into the whole retinol, prescription retinol, I need to be using it because it's going to make my skin strong and sturdy. And I'm telling you, if you start using prescription retinols at a young age, and even prescription retinols anyway, you know, you've got to be so careful. I'm not going to say that they're terrible for you, because of course they change the skin. But what I am going to say is that it's going to change your skin, not for the better, not long term. And this is the thing that you have to realize. That's why when you use your other molecules of your vitamin A groupings, when you have a multiple array of them, you're not only building a strong structure, you know, and of course, you know, your formula, your delivery system within all of those are very, very important. But you want to have a strong structure. And, you know, I'm seeing all these people, you know, talking, and there's one particular one that I noticed in the UK, that's a dermatologist over there, that says, you know, that they're all a waste of time, the over-the-counter retinols, that you have to use prescription strength. And then I look at her skin, and I say to myself, wow, she's clearly a lot younger than I am, but you know what? Her skin it's not great. Her skin is like a little blotchy. It's like people that use retinols on a regular basis. It's really tricky. And, you know, and I know Caroline Herones, who I love and adore, who's, I mean, truly wonderful, and she loves it and uses it. But she's going to be the first person to tell you that, you know, you've got to be really careful. And, you know, whether she uses every day or how she uses it, I don't think she does. But she also lives in the UK, where there's not a lot of sun, you know. So, and if anyone knows about skincare products, it's certainly her, okay? So, but, you know, you've got to look at your environment. You've got to look at where you live. You've also got to look at things, you know, just your lifestyle. I mean, are you really using sunblocks to protect your skin on a regular basis? And I mean all the time, even inside, because through lighting, through blue light off our computer, all of these things, it really affects the skin. But anybody who's saying that over-the-counter retinols do nothing for the skin is absolute rubbish. And, you know, I'm seeing somebody, there's a word eczema here. It's like, yes, you can use retinols and have eczema as long as you're layering, and you've got to be careful. You know, maybe you're not going to be using the over-the-counter retinols all the time with eczema. Certainly you wouldn't want to be. But if you're layering, you're putting on your serums, and then you're working in your retinol a little bit, it's the safest way to go. And, you know, and what happens with people that use, you know, prescription strength retinols all the time, I mean, their skin, it gets blotchy, it gets thin, their skin starts to look waxy, and, you know, it just doesn't have that barrier. I mean, it is aggressive. Retinols are aggressive, and over time they change the skin. You know, they don't offer the protection. You want to be using retinols that have other things in it that help protect your skin, that you can use every day, not get ruddy, not get flaky, not damage your capillaries. You want to keep your skin strong, and you have to have a strong skin everywhere, or every level in your skin. So please don't get caught up with this whole retinol business. I mean, it really, it's so crazy to me, because so many people that I meet that have been using retinols and prescription strength retinols, you know, they're often, they have to stop using it because they've used it a few times. It makes their skin so irritated. They stop using it, and then they're completely against all retinols anyway, whether it's, you know, the any of your retinoids at all, even the buffered ones that, you know, or your derivatives of it. It's disappointing, because you can really use retinols on a regular basis, but they've got to be buffered, and they've got to, you know, get them that have a complex, get them that's got a lot of your different molecules of your retinols in them, so that you can really feel the strength in your skin, and you can feel, you know, it's firm, it looks brighter, it does all of these things. It's really amazing. And, you know, your retinols you can get from foods as well. I mean, retinols, like other vitamins, it's the lipophilic oil-based. It's attracted to oil in the lipophilic. That's going to be your vitamin A, your vitamin D, your vitamin E, those are your vitamin K. They're all the lipophilic vitamins too that are really attracted to fats, right? So you can get those from vegetables. You can get those from some of your fatty vegetables, like fish oils and egg yolks and what are some others? Liver. Oh God, that stuff is so disgusting. The liver, but you can get your vitamin A from those types of foods as well. That really helps support the skin, because what we do know is that vitamin A is a really important vitamin to have in the body to keep our immune system strong, to fight disease. It also helps, topically, if you get any of the little skin basal cell carcinomas or the squamous cells, it helps keep all of that at bay, like an AHA. If you start to get those dry little flaky bits on the skin, your retinols are going to help with that a lot. But I have to say that it's just really my big thing today is about people saying that over-the-counter retinols don't do anything for the skin. And from a personal experience and working with a chemist, as I have done for a long time, he's always talked about the importance of combining different molecules and just how that really builds a strong skin. So I know how much it's changed my skin over the years, in that my skin is stronger, it's better than it was 10 years ago. And that is really because I work with retinols. So I'm just a huge retinol fan, and I believe that it's such a great ingredient, but it's also toxic in large forms. So we want to not be using prescription strength is prescription for a reason. I say this every single time when I do my videos. It's a prescription for a reason. That's why you can't use it when you're pregnant. And it is absorbed into the bloodstream. And I've also told this story in the past, and this is about my sister. My sister had very bad allergies. She went to a nutritionist in Australia. He put her on mega doses of vitamin A. And when I say mega doses, I mean she was on 300,000 milligrams of vitamin A a day. Now, if you're on anything over 15 milligrams, you should be under doctor's supervision. So she had really bad allergies, and he put her on all of these vitamins and 300,000 milligrams of vitamin A. And 2 years later, my sister almost died. She is now, she has cirrhosis of the liver, and it's affected her, for the rest of her life. Her liver has grown larger to compensate. It's put strain on her gallbladder. But, in having that much vitamin A in your diet and which she was taking these pills, it was just a disaster for her. So, you have to understand that, as I say, and I talk a lot about anything prescription, whether it be prescription acne pills. It's like, people that have been taking these pills, they just keep taking pills and they still have acne, 6-8 years later. I'm just like, good grief. It just drives me crazy. So, the same thing, you've got to think a little bit, you've got to think about your retinols, and if you're using a prescription strength, it is being absorbed into your bloodstream. So you want to have your liver checked. You need to have your liver checked. That's why people go on Accutane, have to go every 3 months and have their liver checked, and to make sure it's okay. But it puts tremendous strain. So to be using something ongoingly, we know the skin absorbs everything. And retinols, your retinoic acid, it goes into your bloodstream. So you need to keep an eye on this. And for you guys that are really 20, 30, 40, that are going to be living another 50, 60 years, probably more, then you need to think about that, because once your liver's damaged, You know, and in my sister's case, you know, she has cirrhosis of the liver from never being drunk in her life, but from taking too much vitamin A. And it is very, very toxic. So you just, you know, you guys need to think about it. You know, you people are just putting stuff on their face, and they're always trying to like get that baby's bottom look to their face and peeling their skin like crazy. And I'm telling you, you're really going to have a hard time when you get older, because you can't make your skin thicker. You just can't. Once you've buffered it back and you can see all your blood vessels, as you get older, your skin's going to get thinner. And then you're going to be able to see all these little blood vessels even more. And it's just like, you know, what are you going to do? So you have to think about these things, you know. So retinols are fantastic. But when you can work with all the different molecules of them, it's better, you know, and it does work, and it does change the skin, because it changed my skin. And I've never used a prescription strength retinol in my life. And I started more aggressively using my retinols, which is my complexes. It's my Rejuvi Vitamin A that, you know, I all talk about. It's in a cream form. There's a retinol serum. Rejuvi comes in retail and professional. It's usually yellow in color, because you know, it's either you know, so it comes from a lot of the yellow, the fatty soluble egg yolks, this type of thing. It's also not always, you know, there's a synthetic form too, right? But it's the retinols that I have and that I work with, they're usually yellowish in color, and it, you know, as they get older, they're more susceptible to air as well. They can change a little bit, so they are a more active product. I think that I remember someone's, you know, retinoic acid in the retinol form is not yellow. In most cases, it's white. But usually the ones that I work with, and they're almost a little bit oily, you know, they're definitely that fat soluble, that lipophilic compound, you know. So I'm getting a lot of questions here, and I did write some things too that I wanted to just show you a little graph that I did, that I just did this last night. I drew this so you can kind of see. There we go. Okay, so you see, this is what a vitamin A complex looks like. It's got your retinol, okay? The one that goes in between here, which is not in here, this is by molecular weight and size. So this one here is your smallest, and this is retinol, okay? In between here, which I have not got in here, is your retinoic acid, and your retinoic acid is your prescription, okay? Your Tazarac, your different, so that would be in here. But this one here, that's the one that is a little more aggressive on the skin, that, you know, we talk about. That's your prescription strength, right? Then up here, you've got your Retinyl Acetate. See, they're all by smaller, it's like getting larger. The Retinyl Propionate, and then your Retinyl Palmitate, which is the largest molecule. So when you're working with all of these molecules in a product, and a lot of them just maybe have, you know, Retinyl Palmitate, or they might just have Retinyl Acetate. They don't usually have a bunch of different molecules in them, you know, a lot of them. But if you can get a product that has a few of your different retinoids in it, then it's going to be better in that it's going to work on different levels in the skin. And when I say better, I'm not going to say it's necessarily better, but, you know, because it all depends on a formula and what you have, your delivery system, because there's no point having all these fabulous ingredients if you can't get them to where they need to go. Jordan Samuel has a retinol oil too that I know is a really good one. But you know, there are so many good retinols out there that are over the counter. I mean, there are just so many. So for anybody to say that that they don't work is just insane. So that structure that I just showed you in a diagram is in it's in the Rejuvi. It's in an A night gel, okay? And that's the only one I know of that has, I'm sure there's others, that has 4 molecules of your vitamin A groupings in there. So it's got all those retinoids in there, okay? It does not have retinoic acid, which is your prescription strength retinol. So, and as I said, and that's the one that's your Tazorac and your Tretinoin, and people love it. I mean, you know, a lot of people love using it, and if you're going to use it every so often, great, that's okay, but every so often. I mean, I wouldn't, but if you're going to do it that way, then you've got to be smart, and you've got to really protect and layer your skin. And so you sort of just have to have this understanding about it. It's just so much talk about, you know, retinols, and everyone's prescribing the prescription ones, and it's just not right, really. It isn't, and especially to young people, it's just not right. So, you know, you need to look at what you're doing, and yeah, over the counter ones, there's so many great ones out there, so many great brands. I just mentioned Rejuvi because I've used it forever. I know how it changes the skin. It's what I work with my clients, you know, and their skin. You've seen the results and what I do. Jordan has a great one too, you know. So I know there's a lot of good ones. So let me answer some questions here for you. Excuse me. There we go. Okay. So of course what we know is, you know, the other thing is when you're working with something that is your different retinols, okay, that they're going to be more stable, okay, and that's the other thing that's really important, and that's your different complex of all your vitamin A groupings. So, you know, I'm not a chemist. I just know from, you know, working with the doctor that I've worked with retinols and just how they work on the skin, and I've been able to see and observe the structure of the skin and how it strengthens this level and how it strengthens the one under it. And when you're working with these different molecules, you're not just using something that's aggressive, that just irritates the skin like crazy and goes to one level in the skin. So that's why I really, you know, want to put a lot of, you know, I really want you to understand. So I know I'm rambling on a bit here about that, but I did some questions here that some people had asked me. So, yeah, okay. So some of the questions is, you know, what's vitamin A good for? I mean, what skin types is vitamin A good for? Now, vitamin A is really, you know, and again, I'm talking about your complex of your derivatives, but also the mixture of all of them, okay? And again, it's all your molecules. They're all, you know, your acetate, your palmitate, your retinoic acid, they're all different molecules of size and weight. So they go to different levels in the skin. So it's good for, you know, obviously it's good for aging. It's very good for acne, because acne, you know, when you're dealing with acne, you get scarring and sometimes it's pitting. So you need to be able to get to all those levels. It's good for wrinkles, of course. We know it's good for wrinkles. We know it's good for, you know, strengthening the collagen, elastin. The only ones, you know, that it's sort of interesting, because if you're deficient in vitamin A, you can you can get psoriasis. So it's important, you know, deficiencies in vitamin A internally will give you things like a weakened immune system. You know, some say it's even contributed to leukemia and forms of breast cancer and things. So we want to make sure that we're eating vitamin A, okay, internally, because, and even the deficiency in vitamin A has been said to be, you know, contribute to psoriasis. Now, topically, if you have psoriasis, you would have to be careful using it topically, in that you're going to have to layer, because with eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, you know, the skin, there is irritation on the skin. So you don't want to be using a prescription strength retinol or something that's too aggressive, right? You want to definitely use one that's buffered, and some of the vitamin A, you know, the retinoids molecules within the vitamin A, that you know, so you're still getting benefits of the vitamin A, because we know that vitamin A internally helps psoriasis, but you don't want to be too aggressive on the outside, because we don't want to cause irritation, redness, more flaking, more drying, more thinning, more capillary damage, where you have leakage within the capillary wall. So vitamin A, you know, is really good for everybody, but just you don't want to be using it too strong, too young, you know, and you have to make that decision. Once you start working with retinols, you're going to have to be really diligent about using your sunblock, and anything under a 40 is not going to be good enough. An SPF under a 40 is not going to be good enough. Once you make that decision of using retinols, you better be using a sunscreen every single day on your face, you know, and that's indoor, outdoor, because, you know, your skin's going to look better, it's going to look younger, it's going to look healthier and prettier, but you have to make that decision of sunblock, because otherwise you're going to age your skin faster. If you're using something that's going to make your skin very vulnerable to the elements and you're not protecting it, you're going to age faster. So you have to make that decision, and you need to think about it, okay? So that was one. Does it damage capillaries? Yes, it does. Retinoic acid. Now remember, this is your prescription strength. It does not support your blood vessel wall. It supports your collagen and elastin, and it strengthens it underneath. But your outer surface area, and on a thinner skin, and someone who has a skin like mine, are very transparent, and as we get older, it's going to become more transparent. I have seen people that have used prescription strength retinols for more than 20 years. And let me tell you, a skin like mine, what their skin looks like, it is painful to look at for me, because it's so thin on the outside and those blood vessels are so visible. It's just so upsetting. So again, just don't go too strong. You know, you've got to layer, you've got to protect. If you're going to use something like that, mix it with something. You've got to do something else, because just using straight retinol on your skin forevermore is just, you know, you're really going to have a super thin skin. Everything's going to be so transparent. You're blue, you know, you see people that get the big blue veins and around the eyes especially, and tons of blood vessels. It's just really hard. You can't make it thicker. There is no laser. There is nothing out there that is going to make your skin thicker, okay? Once you've thinned it back that much, that's it. You can't make it thicker. As I said, you can lift and tuck all you like, but it's not going to make your skin thicker. So you have to be really careful about what you do. Your choices with your products and what you use on your skin every day is really important. Don't go too strong too quickly, okay? So now, another question I had. How does it work on the skin as a whole structure? Okay, well, I've sort of explained this. When you use a complex of your vitamin A's, your acetate, your palmitate, there's the other side, your A1, your A2, when you're working with your retinols, all of them as a structure makes your skin strong underneath. So your collagen elastin. So how did it affect my skin? My skin is, I'll tell you what I do. I do Botox here between this part of my eyes, and I've done a little filler in my nasolabial, and I've had filler put in my lips a long time ago, which is permanent. So never to be done again. And by the way, I would never do it again. It was so bloody painful having my lips done. Oh my God. But no, that's what I've had done. Now, if you saw pictures of my skin more than 10 years ago, I haven't done any laser, I haven't done any Ulthera, anything like that. But my skin it wasn't as strong as it is now. So what has retinol done to my skin? It's changed my skin dramatically. It's made my skin strong. Like, my skin is bouncy. And mind you, it's falling a little bit. It's a little probably on the heavier side too. But it's got body to it. It's strong. I mean, I'm almost 60. Okay, it's a strong skin. So you want to work with your retinols, your combination of all of them, and build those strong layers. They're so great on the skin. But you go for one of those molecules. You just use that prescription strength retinol. You're going to just one level, and you're going to irritate your skin, and you're not going to have a strong skin. It just isn't strong. It's so, like, I just can't believe that people can't see this. And as I said, people that are out there talking about how over the counters, if you look at their skin and you zoom in, you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's like, you need more than that. Okay, I'm getting carried away again. Is it absorbed into the bloodstream? Absolutely. Retinols and particularly retinoic acid, your prescription strength, is absorbed into the bloodstream, which is number one, why you cannot be on it when you're pregnant. It's also, why it's a prescription for a reason. It's also absolutely why, people have to have their liver checked when they're on Accutane for acne. So yes, it's absolutely absorbed into the bloodstream. And okay, it makes it transparent. Problems in using it too young, we've talked about that, and sunblock all the time. So let me have a look and see if there's any quick questions up here I can see. So we should get prescription retinols? No, don't get prescription retinols. I'm sorry, when did you come in here to see? No, you have to use retinols that have got like different molecules in it. Look here, you got to use your retinols that have all your molecules. Okay, your palmitate, your propionate. These are different molecules. Your acetate and your retinol, they're all molecules of different weight, and they're all different sizes. You want to use a product that has got your derivatives of your vitamin A. You want to use them that's got your retinoids, all your different parts of your vitamin A in it, not just one, because prescription strength goes to one level. And can you come to the UK, please? Yes, and if you guys, I do plan on going to the UK. If you guys in over there are wanting to order Rejuvi over there too, there's the UK distributor who has Rejuvi over there, and it's Rejuvi at uk.co. I think that's it, or is it co.uk? Anyway, I think it's uk.co. He's over there and handling that and doing a great job over there, that handles the whole of Europe over there. So you guys, you can get great retinols out there, and there's other brands too. I'm not just about my Rejuvi, but that is what I have used for a really long time, so that is what I know, and I can tell you all about it. What is the best non-prescription retinol that I recommend? As I said, I work with Rejuvi. It's great. Yes, I ordered Rejuvi UK. Yeah, good for you. Rejuvi's great. They have great products for certain skin type. I mean, they're fantastic for acne. Most of my clients are acnetic skins. At some point, they're going to be using a retinol to help with their scarring, their pitting. Retinols, they're fantastic. And so I highly recommend them. And there's a ton there's someone here saying in Byron, they have a good one too that she likes. Rejuvi CO. Okay, rejuvi.co.uk. Thank you for the correction. You guys, if you're in Europe or over that way and you want to get a hold of the A night gel, it is a complex. It's fantastic, okay? It's not even that expensive, and it's fantastic. It's a light cream. It's fantastic. Retinols, you use them at nighttime in the PM. You don't use them in the day, you use them in the PM. Make sure you've got a really good sun block, that you are protecting your skin, and you're really doing a good job. The Oboji, is good. Okay, Oboji's the one. I will, now that you've mentioned, I've said that name, I will tell you, Oboji's too strong. And although I can't even tell you, I know a lot about Dr. Oboji. I worked in Beverly Hills for a really long time, and let me just say, make it real short, it's very, very, very strong, okay? And that client that I was referring to, that her skin became so transparent, her capillaries were so visible, that is the retinol she was using. So to me, it's very strong, okay? So for a lot of people that have a thinner skin, a more transparent skin, like my skin, if you're a thick skin person, really thick skin, maybe that's going to be okay for you. But it is a very strong retinol product, and in my opinion, it is way too strong. But I'm going to say that about a lot of brands. I'm not going to just pinpoint him out, but I know a lot about that particular one, more than probably most others for that reason. So would Rejuvi be good for thinner skin? It is good. Rejuvi is a great retinol product, but you have to layer. I always suggest you got to put a serum on, get your Q-flavonoid. You want to be using your bioflavonoids, things that are going to, offer more, other nutritional value, like nutrients, and your bioflavonoid, your Q-flavonoid, the retinol over top of the Q-flavonoid is fantastic. The Q's got arnica and vitamin K and P, and it's got, mulberry extract. It has all these great things that support the skin that is so great. You want to layer when you're using retinols. You have to layer. You put a serum on, you put your retinol on over the top of it. And it's how you build a strong skin. It's how you make your skin pretty. You've got to layer your skin. You know, the older you get, the more layering you have to do. Layer your serums. It's really, really important. What can you do for hormonal acne? Oh, that's a different topic, hormonal acne. But, you know, retinols are great for hormonal acne. But, you know, it's hormonal acne, I've talked about this before. If they're painful pimples anywhere on your face, it's hormonal. But you can't just go, you know, there's different steps. When you're working with acne and retinols, you've got to clean up the acne before you kind of start using retinols almost. And what I mean by that is you've got to conquer the activity of the oil before you start being more aggressive with retinols. Like what I do when I'm working with an acnetic skin is I don't always give them retinols straight away. I've got to conquer the activity of the oil until it gets to a place where they're not breaking out as much, they're not as oily. Then I come in with the retinols, because my retinols are going to help with my scarring, they're going to help with my pitting, they're going to help resurface the skin. But you've got to you've got to calm down that activity. And if you go too strong with retinols in the beginning, you're just going to create sensitivity, and they're still going to have the infection and the pustules and the, you know, papules underneath the skin. So you don't want to go straight to retinol. You've got to get them on a good cleansing routine. You've got to, you know, make sure they're cleansing really well and they're exfoliating and they've got some sort of acne medicine. You know, whether it be your salicylic acids, your BHA or your AHAs. You've got to kind of conquer that before you come in hard with your retinols. Your retinols are like a peel almost, in that, you know, they are a resurfacing. They're fantastic on the skin. But you've got to have everything ready before that. If you go straight into using retinols, which is a mistake a lot of people make, they go and they get a retinol and they don't really have much of a regimen outside of their retinol. They get irritated, then they have to stop everything, and then now they've got to go back to basics again and build their skin up so that their skin can tolerate it. So it's really important, again, you've got to have your things to support you when you go on a retinol. And I'm not talking about prescription strength, okay? Because as I said, if you're living in the UK or you're living in certain places, the weather's different over there. I live in Los Angeles. We have a lot of sun. We are not a really humid climate. In fact, we're desert. Has got a little bit more humid the longer I've lived here, but you've got to be very careful, and you need to think about all of these things. If Caroline Herones is talking about retinol in the UK, you know, she can definitely, and you know, she uses it quite often on her own skin. It's a different climate, and she doesn't have the sun, and she's awesome, by the way. Okay, so you guys want to learn about retinol? She's coming out with a book. I think it's on pre-order right now. It has a lot in there about her, you know, about vitamin A too. But you have to look at your climates, and you know, these things are really, really important. And then yes, what bioflavonoids do you recommend? I mean, I love the Q flavonoid, the Rejuvi Q. It's a letter Q. And, you know, anything that your antioxidants, your things that fight free radicals, they're just fantastic. But that one in particular is fantastic because it really helps support the skin. It feeds the skin a lot of nutrients. It lightens and brightens the skin. It's just a fantastic vitamin for the skin. What about the skin purging? You know, purging. I mean, you can work retinols into that, because when you first start, if you're going off certain foods or if you're on some kind of a cleanse, your skin can purge and retinols. But again, just work it in, just be gentle. Like, don't be using it all the time. Just work it in to your regimen, but have your products to support you around you, so that you've got things to, you know, when you're not going to be using your retinols, you still need to have other moisturizers. You might want to add a little bit of your retinol to your moisturizer. You've got to wean into it. If your skin starts getting red and irritated and dry, just you've got to you know, cut it back, and you've got to start weaning other things in. Don't get your skin to a place where it just becomes red, dry, and irritated, especially around this part of the face. When you start using retinols around the sides of the nose and the mouth are the areas that really suffer, that can really get dry. And then if you get dryness and you are of a darker skin tone, or you know, a medium Fitzpatrick's. You're going to get darker around here if you burn your skin with retinol. And retinols are so great for darker skin tones. Oh my God, it is like fantastic. I actually would prefer retinols with darker skin tones than I would your alpha hydroxy acids. But retinols are fantastic. I mean, like truly, if I woke up tomorrow and someone said, I'm sorry, there's no more retinols out there, you're just going to have to deal, I would be like, oh, you're kidding me, right? Because they are so important, and they change your skin. So, but if you are a darker skin tone, retinols for you guys is unbelievably fantastic. And again, I'm not talking prescription strength, so please don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking retinoic acid. I'm talking your different molecules that I always find so difficult to tell you. Acetate, your palmitate, your retinol, your Retinyl Palmitate. God, I can't even say that one. Retinyl Palmitate. There's different molecules, different sizes, and that are not aggressive, that are not harsh on your skin. We'll try to find ones that have got all of the different ones. Try to work with ones that have an array of your vitamin A molecules. So a darker skin person going to be great with retinols. Retinols on a lighter skin person like myself is you've got to be more careful. You know, where you really are buffering and you're layering, and you've got to be doing a lot more with that. So these are hydrating masks and more. Yes, you can. You can absolutely add a little bit of your retinol to your hydrating mask, which is the Rejuvi hydrating she's referring to. That is a great moisturizer for dry skin. Absolutely. Get it in there as much as you can. You want to be able to use retinols every night, but you want to mix it with other things. Excuse me. You want to mix it with other things to be able to use it every night. Okay? So, so I apologize if I've been a little mean or saying things about other people out there, doctors or dermatologists and places. But I talk a lot about this in my videos, and if you've watched my videos, you've seen me. I do want to say, for people that are of my 5-star community, that we are moving our 5-star community to a new platform, which is fantastic. And I'm going to be doing lessons with you guys every single week. So we are moving that onto a different platform soon. So thank you for your patience. We have a lot of great things happening for our 5-star member community. And for all, love, oh yes, I love you too. Thank you. Yes, you cannot, tips for acne during pregnancy. You've got to just stay with your AHAs. You just can't go retinol route and not worry about it too much. You know, try to stay away from your acnetic foods if you're pregnant and you have acne. It's just, you can't control what's going on when you're pregnant. It's just those hormones flying everywhere, and you can't worry too much about your melasma that's coming up when you're pregnant, which happens with a lot of us. When you're pregnant, you just got to just do the best you can and just not worry, because it won't stay there, stay that way. So how long? We're nearing it. So let me just read a couple of more questions here. What's the difference between a retinol gel night and the retinol serum? Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. The A night gel is not as strong as your retinol serum in the Rejuvi. The retinol serum is stronger. And by the way, your A night gel is the one that has it's the complex. It's the one that has the different molecules that I have up here. That is a complex, so it's got your different molecules, okay? The retinol serum is stronger, and I love both of them. And the retinol serum, I tend to add a lot. I'll add a few drops to my moisturizer. You know, as I said, this Jordan Samuel also has a retinol serum. You can add that if you're using his, and he talks about that too. You can add to it. Just be super duper careful if you are going prescription route, guys. It's really, you got to kind of think about it. My big thing today is about, yes, thank you. They love the Rejuvi products. The Rejuvi it's got great retinols. It's got great stuff for whitening and brightening. It's got, great stuff for different forms of hyperpigmentation, great stuff for acne. I mean, I use it really because a huge percentage of my clients are acnetic clients. So there you go. And who's here that's wanting to come in? Let me just see if there's someone that I don't know those people. Okay. Sorry, I was just going to see who was on there to see who was there. So guys, my big thing today, my rant today is about and was about retinols, prescription retinols, and people saying that they only work and that over-the-counter retinols do not work, and that is not true, okay? And in fact, you will age faster, I'm telling you, if you go prescription strength retinol and you start that, and you will age faster using it, you know, one way, and then see yourself using the retinol molecules, your retinoid molecules, and being able to use that consistently as opposed to not using it consistently and using the prescription strength, you are going to age your skin faster. And I just wish people could see this, and I am saying this because I've been doing this for 42 years, which is a really long time. And I've done a gazillion facials in that time because my business has been, you know, it's what I've done all my life. So I can tell you I've used retinols for a long time on, you know, in my treatments, and in, you know, almost 30 years. And I've been using them regularly on myself, meaning, you know, almost every day for the last 10 years. And I can tell you how it changes the skin. So just don't get caught up into thinking stronger is better, okay? Because it's not. It's going to, you know, do other things to your skin, and it's going to set you back in other ways, and you will age faster if you go that route 100% for a length of time. You're better to do an array of different things, different molecules, have a good delivery system, good formulas, good products, and layer your skin, protect your skin. You're going to look younger longer, and that's just the truth, okay? So thank you, you guys. Thank you all for joining my Wednesday rant. I am going to be doing another one on vitamin C, and I'm going to be doing another one on the alpha hydroxy acids each week at this time, 3 o'clock on Wednesdays. It's my rant Wednesday. So thank you for joining me, you guys. It's so great to have you all on here, and for listening to my retinoid rant today. Goodbye, and see you all next week.